everyone, Dave here. I finally got the chance to check out Pixar's latest flick, Lightyear. And in this video, I'm gonna go over all of my spoiler-free thoughts on the movie. Before we get into it though, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd also like to know, what were your thoughts on Lightyear if you've seen the movie? Did you love it or did you not love it so much? I'd also like to know, if you haven't seen the movie, what are your hype levels like for this one? Are you really excited for it, or are you a little bit lukewarm? Who was seeing it at the cinema and who's waiting for it to hit Disney+? I want to know all of that down in the comments below. The definitive origin story of Buzz Lightyear, the hero who inspired the toy. Lightyear follows the legendary Space Ranger after he is marooned on a hostile planet 4.2 million light years from Earth. As Buzz tries to find a way back home through space and time, he is joined by a group of ambitious recruits. Complicating matters is the arrival of Zurg, an imposing presence with a mysterious agenda. If you'd like to learn more about Lightyear, don't forget to check out my recent evolution video charting the character's 27-year history. And if you're a little confused about the Toy Story timeline following the movie, you can check out my Lightyear Explained video. In the coming days, I'll also have my updated Pixar ranking video and a Buzz Lightyear voice evolution. To check out any of these, you can find them linked at the end of the video. Alright, so before we get into the guts of this review, I do just want to kind of address something at the top here. Now, I got the chance to see Lightyear a couple of days after its release. Usually I would see them earlier, thanks to Disney, but I was unfortunately able to make my media preview for this one, so I've come to it a little bit late. I hope that's okay. But at the time that I'm recording this, the movie is actually underperforming at the box office. It's doing vastly less numbers than it should be doing. Vastly less people are seeing it. It's making less money than it was projected. There could be a whole bounty of reasons behind this, one of which could be that, you know, because the last two Pixar movies went direct to Disney+, people were primed to expect a Pixar movie to hit Disney+ day and date with theaters, and it's not happened, and now they're just gonna wait for it to hit Disney+ in like 2 months' time. Any kind of streaming related issue like that. There's also a whole bunch of dumb controversies that have arisen surrounding this movie. You know, kind of real world, you know, what the alt-right fandoms would brand as kind of like woke stuff. I'm not gonna dive down that rabbit hole because that's just so dumb. You know, people are review bombing this movie before it even came out. So that tells you just how stupid some of this controversies are. It's also, you know, a lot of the general audience are confused about this movie. People are like, what is this? Why is this not Tim Allen? Why is this Buzz Lightyear look different? What's going on? Where's Woody? What's happening? The movie doesn't have it's not a confusing premise. This is supposed to be the movie, and the in-universe movie that Andy saw that made him want the Buzz Lightyear toy. And Pixar have gone to all lengths to try and, you know, show audiences, this is what this movie is, and people just still aren't quite getting it. But the problem also is that we're living in a day and age where everyone needs answers for everything. Everyone needs everything to make sense. Everyone needs to prove everyone else wrong. So this is wrong, this movie shouldn't exist. This is wrong, you did this wrong. Why doesn't Andy have any of the toys from this movie other than Buzz Lightyear? Why doesn't he have the cat? Why doesn't he have this? Why isn't this here? Why isn't that? How does it fit in? It makes Buzz Lightyear of Star Command non-canon now. All this just crap. I mean, like, this is a simple premise. Just chill out, guys. Just go in and enjoy this movie. Now, the biggest problem, I think, is that, you know, all of these questions have arisen and they've been directed to the filmmakers, and filmmakers have been answering these questions on Twitter and on social media and whatever else, and, you know, providing answers as to how everything works. You know, they have obviously, you know, thought about this beautifully from all angles and made it work. But then in doing so, in answering all these questions, they're just digging more holes and they're making it seem even more complicated than it should be. This has probably led to people going, I don't get what this movie is. I'm just gonna wait for it to hit Disney+ or wait for it to hit Blu-ray or whatever, and then I'm gonna check it out. It's a little bit disappointing though, because I think this is a movie that definitely does deserve to be seen on the big screen. I got a chance to see this in the IMAX. It's amazing. Has the expanded aspect ratio. This is the first Pixar movie that has utilized shifting aspect ratio, has utilized the full IMAX aspect, and it looks incredible. It's really cool. I can't think of another animated movie that's actually utilized the IMAX ratio. This is the first one I'm aware of anyway. Incredible cinematic experience to see on the big screen, and I would definitely implore you to go and see it on the biggest screen you possibly can. I'm a huge Toy Story fan. I have been my whole life. It's like the second movie I ever saw in cinemas when I was like 4 years old. I had the Buzz and Woody dolls. I had them when I was a kid from the very first movie. I had the original ones, the first that were ever produced. I still have them in my collection. They were my favorite toy toys growing up. They were my friends. You know, I had my real Buzz and Woody pals in my life. And you know, I'm an only child, so they were just there to keep me company, Buzz and Woody. So I have a real great kind of connection, even like a spiritual connection to this franchise. So Lightyear was a movie I was certainly very, very excited to check out. And all of the kind of logistical things about how this movie works, you know, I never really cared about it. I just want to see this great kind of fun new take on Buzz Lightyear. And look, I'm really glad that this movie exists because this is a really fun, kind of charming, innocent, action-adventure sci-fi movie for the whole family to enjoy. This is a movie that has like so many throwbacks to Toy Story, like stuff that I wasn't expecting. A lot of these lines that you recognize from the Toy Story movies, you hear in this film, and it's almost kind of like, well, these lines were probably ripped from the movie and given to the voice box in the toy, or the way that the toy thinks is because these are these like iconic lines from the franchise or whatever in universe. Again, trying to think too hard about it, but you know, there are a lot of these really great kind of throwbacks to Toy Story. We've also got Emperor Zurg in here as a bad guy, so that kind of ties it back to Toy Story as well. It's got this really kind of really beautiful narrative kind of thread that goes back to Toy Story, makes it really work in really well. Again, it's a work of reverse engineering, just like the Star Wars prequels were. There are these things that you see that make the other things make sense, even though they weren't necessarily planned like that in the first place. You know, it's a kind of a thing like that. That's how this movie works. I really enjoyed this new take on Buzz Lightyear. Chris Evans is great. I mean, he's just the perfect kind of straight-laced action superhero to take on like typical American action hero voice. He really voices this character in the same way that he voices Captain America, and I really like that take on Buzz Lightyear here. I have no problems with him not being voiced by Tim Allen, because again, if you try and think about it logistically, not all the time do, you know, the actors actually go on to voice the toys. Tim Allen only ever voiced the Buzz Lightyear dolls that were like produced as promotional marketing merchandise for movies. So like the very original Buzz Lightyear toy has Tim Allen voices. He didn't voice the doll. I think they just took the, you know, voice recordings from the movie, but that has the Tim Allen voice. But then subsequent dolls just didn't use it. They used sound-alikes or whoever else, you know, whatever. So, you know, that's never been a big issue for me. And I think Chris Evans does this really well. And I think for this new kind of new age Buzz Lightyear, I think he does the job perfectly. I loved kind of the adventure that he goes on. It's a really cool world to kind of see his world kind of expanded in this way, to kind of see things that he talks about in Toy Story, you know, like exploring uncharted space and, you know, Gamma Quadrant, Sector 4, all this kind of stuff. That's kind of thrown in here, which is really cool to kind of, again, reverse engineered, but it's kind of cool to just get a chance to explore this world in a new way. That said, the movie I did feel was maybe a little bit underwhelming. I'm not sure if this is the movie that I was expecting, or that I think we were really sold. They really sold this movie as kind of being like a real serious action sci-fi, maybe psychological kind of thing that maybe dives into philosophy a little bit as well. You know, kind of that sad spaceman movie like Interstellar or Gravity or, you know, First Man, or, yeah, any of those kinds of, you know, spacey movies that we've been getting recently. They really, really advertise this movie as being something like that. And I think it kind of does start off like that. I think the opening of this movie is terrific. I think even like the first half hour of this movie is really great. But it does take like this really weird turn, maybe about 45 minutes, half the way into the movie. It takes this odd turn where now you've got Buzz Lightyear on kind of a Western-inspired adventure where he teams up with this ragtag team of misfits to solve this problem in this galaxy and defeat this, you know, evil guy that is, you know, has got a grasp on the galaxy and is gonna, you know, destroy planets or whatever it is. But I feel like there's like this really weird shift in the movie, and with this shift, it changes everything about the film. The tonality changes of it. It starts off as like a really great drama, like some really dramatic stuff. Like I was about to well up with tears within the first, you know, act of this movie, because it's just really poignant and really heartfelt. And then it goes off in this really wacky kind of comedy direction. Now, I wouldn't mind that. I think it's fine. I think it works well, and it works really well for the character, but I think the movie did feel kind of tonally a bit mixed, a bit jumbled. It just kind of felt like there were these two kind of conflicting things they wanted to do with this movie, and they didn't really kind of find the way to gel them together properly. Once it gets to this kind of middle half, this second act and the final act of the movie, Everything feels just really paint by numbers. This is like the typical sci-fi action adventure movie we have seen so many times, and it kind of does almost turn into like a parody of these kinds of movies instead of trying to make itself a new and original film that lives within this kind of, you know, lexicon of really great sci-fi movies. There are so many like plot beats and story beats and character tropes, everything thrown into this that we have seen so many times in so many different sci-fi movies over the years, that it just really did kind of feel like almost like a wasted opportunity to do something really special and to do something new with this genre. It's also got a twist. There's like a twist. I'm not going to say anything about it, but there is kind of like a revelation kind of thing that comes during the movie that I wasn't 100% on board with. I didn't think it worked really well, and I kind of did get glossed over really quickly as well. It kind of resolves itself very quickly. A lot of the things in this movie just resolve themselves very, very quickly. There aren't very high stakes in this one at all. It's a family movie, so we can't really expect too much from it. I think the movie it does a really good job for the audience that it's aiming at. But I don't know, I think I maybe hoped for maybe a little bit more from this. That said, again, this is a fun movie. I had fun with this. I think it's a very good movie. And visually, again, it's stunning. The animation in this is gorgeous. I don't know, and I say this, and I've said this in every single one of my reviews for a Disney or Pixar movie for the last 6 years, I don't know how the animation just keeps getting better on these things. This is a movie that you were watching, and at some point, you just forget that you're watching an animated film. It feels so lifelike. It feels so vivid. It feels so rich. Everything about it just really so immerses you in this incredible animation. The team of animators behind this movie have done some incredible work. This is some of the best animation I have ever seen in my life. It's absolutely stunning. It's just so lifelike, and it's such a huge testament to how far the art form has really come in really such a short amount of time. This movie looks gorgeous. Again, at the time I'm recording this, the movie's underperforming, so whether we will see a sequel or, you know, a series of sequels is probably very much up in the air at the moment, but it's very clear that they want to set this up as a franchise. It's the origin story, and they want to go into, you know, other stories, tell other things with this character and the team of characters here. You know, I would highly welcome a sequel or a series of sequels to this movie. I would love to see the further adventures of Buzz Lightyear in this version and in this world, expand his world a bit more, explore it a bit. I think it would be great, but I would only want to see that if they can assure that they can raise the stakes a little bit. No, if they could raise the stakes substantially. You know, this movie just really starts so great before just falling into the trappings of this genre and falling into just a kind of, in some parts, a really generic sci-fi adventure movie. It's almost like they had these grand plans and then got too scared halfway through and just had to, you know, play it by the numbers. If they do another one, they gotta go all out with this, and I would be totally on board, and I hope I love it even more. But again, I'm not sure if we are actually gonna see that. But I really do hope, again, once again, that you all love this movie. Go and show this movie some support, so hopefully we can get more down the line. With all that said, I'll be giving Lightyear a 3.5 out of 5. Lightyear is fun, charming, and innocent, but sadly never reaches the heights promised or expected, ending up an incredibly safe, paint-by-numbers sci-fi adventure that doesn't do much new for the genre. And at that, I'm throwing it over to you. I want to know, what are your thoughts on Lightyear? Did you love it? Did you not love it so much? You're so confused you haven't even seen it? Throw away with those thoughts down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to check out more of my Lightyear coverage, you can find those videos linked on your screen right now. Until next time, take it easy. Thanks for watching.